welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Rob, if we can grab clips 18 and 19, maybe I'll just wedge these in here at the beginning of this segment, clips 18 and 19. Number to call is 888-589-8840. Happy to have you weigh in on what the GOP is trying to do to Dave Agema right now. Guy just sticking up for the Republican Party platform on marriage, homosexual agenda, Islam, and they are going to change the rules to try to drum him off the Republican National Committee. And the way they're going to change the rules to read is somebody can be bounced. Right now, you got to commit a felony or refuse to support the GOP nominee in 2016. Now they're going to say if somebody is a detriment to the party's success, that's going to be now the new standard. Felony, don't support the GOP nominee, or you are a detriment to the success of the party, we can drum you right out of leadership. So notice that they're putting supporting the Republican Party platform, they're putting that in the same category as committing a felony offense. That's one of the two things that you can do right now. The only two things you can do before the Republican Party convention in 2016 that'll get you bounced is commit a felony or support the Republican Party platform. You do that, we're going to drill you to the floor. You're gone. We're going to boot you right out on the street, kick you to the curb. You're gone. As I talked with Dave Agema about this, if they get away with this, what Republican in his right mind would ever speak out again that doesn't have Dave Agema's courage? What Republican in his right mind would ever speak out against the homosexual agenda ever, or speak out on the dangers of Islam? I mean, you talk about the GOP silencing dissent. We've had these complaints about President Obama criminalizing dissent. That's what he's doing, criminalizing dissent by sending the IRS after the Tea Party, sending the IRS after 501c4 groups, sending the DOJ after Dinesh D'Souza, sending the DOJ after Bob McDonnell, the governor of Virginia, sending his hatchet guys out after Chris Christie. He's not a conservative, but he's a Republican. Got to take him out. And all of this all at once. And now the Republican Party is criminalizing dissent in its own ranks by going after Dave Agema. Now, one other issue, we'll go to the phones quickly after this, but the Republican Party, again, is trying to strategize on immigration. Now, I'll save those, Rob. Let me save those to the next hour because I want to devote a little bit of time to that immigration issue. So let's just go right to the phones. Why don't we go to the phones, grab a couple of calls, 888-589-8840. Let's go to Ann in Memphis, Tennessee. Ann, welcome. What's on your mind?
Well, I have not heard anybody say anything about this, but I have a friend that got the Obamacare.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But to pay for it, she got a $6,000 tax credit.
Yeah.
And then she pays like $100 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, that's us paying for it, isn't it?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So, I mean, the reality is, Ann, with all these subsidies and so forth, hardworking taxpayers not only have to pay for their own health care at jacked up premium rates and jacked up copays and jacked up deductibles, we now have to pay for health insurance for people that we don't even know, that we've never met, that we never will meet. So, yeah, you are exactly right. And I'm assuming
he says it's affordable care. Yeah, it's affordable for them, but we're paying it.
Yeah, so it's not very affordable for us, in other words.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate the call, Ann. And, that's, what Ann is saying is just exactly right. I mean, this is a massive, it's just socialism, because the essence of socialism is the involuntary redistribution of wealth, where you take assets from some citizens and you transfer it against their will at the point of a gun under threat of incarceration. You transfer that wealth to other citizens. That's just socialism. It's just legalized plunder. It's legalized theft. It's immoral, and it is unconstitutional as well, because there is nowhere. Again, this gets back to the discussion we had yesterday about the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8. I mean, all of Obamacare. It's not just some parts of it are unconstitutional, not just the subsidies that are unconstitutional. It is the whole thing that is contrary to the Constitution, because there is no authorization in Article 1, Section 8 for the central government to manage health care. It's just not in there anywhere. You won't find the word medicine. You won't find the word doctors. You won't find the word health care. You won't find the word insurance. You won't find the word hospital. You won't find that anywhere in the Constitution. You could read it from front to back, upside down, backwards, in Sanskrit, translated into Aramaic, read it from right to left. You are not going to find in there any authorization for the central government to be involved in managing, directing our health care, number one, and no authorization to involuntarily transfer wealth to rob from some in order to give to others. It's unconstitutional, unethical, immoral, and contrary also to the Ten Commandments of God, which prohibit stealing. And just because it's done under cover of law does not make it right. It's just legalized theft, legalized plunder. All right, let's go to Nick in Caddington, Ohio. Nick, welcome. Thanks for calling. What's on your mind?
Hi, Brian.
Hey.
Thank you for taking my phone call. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller. And but, Brian, I just want to know, do we even have a Republican Party anymore? It's so much like a Democratic Party. I just wondered, is there a Republican Party? And what are some of our alternatives to voting for these clowns that claim to be Republicans? And I know I just came from the Board of Elections, and I want to change from I've voted Republican all my life, and I've never missed an election, and I want to change my affiliation and things. So what can I don't think we have any differences anymore.
Well, and I'm afraid that's the concern. That's the concern I've got. I think it's a concern that a lot of people have. And I honestly don't know what the solution is. I honestly can't tell you what the solution is because it's just a mystery, Nick. I don't know what to tell you. I read the transcript from Rush Limbaugh's program last night, and he said something for the first time that I've been saying for years. He finally tumbled to the reality that a lot of people are just like you, Nick. They're independents, but not because they're somewhere between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. They're not independent because they're left of the Republican Party and right of the Democratic Party. They are independents because they are to the right of the Republican Party, and the Republican Party no longer speaks for them. And it sounds like that's exactly where you're at.
Well, it seems to me like that in the Republican Party, their platform, you were talking about earlier, what they believe in, and then they're behind closed doors, there's something else. I see them no different than the Democratic Party anymore. The lies that come from these people, and there's so many people in politics anymore, in my own opinion, this is just my opinion, that have blackened hearts. They've thrown Christ away. They don't want anything to do with God. They think that they are gods, and that we should bow down to them and worship them, and I'll never do that. I just wish that somehow, some way, we could get these people who are in power to realize that the ultimate authority comes from God. They're just given this authority for a brief time, and they're going to answer for the way that they're running things. And it's not going to be to a court of law. It's going to be to a just God, and that should put the fear in them enough to start running and doing the proper things. But I guess when you have a blackened heart in the way that they do, they don't see it that way.
Well, and I wish there was more of a sense of some kind of accountability to God for what they do.
Right.
And I'll tell you honestly what I think is going on, Nick, and I'll let you respond to this. We talked with Dave Agema about the wimpishness of the GOP, the cowardice, the capitulation to political correctness on the homosexual agenda. They do not want anybody in the Republican Party talking about the health risks involved in homosexual behavior. They don't want anybody in the GOP opposing same-sex marriage. They are cowardly and wimpish and have gone to ground on the threat that Islam poses to our national security. And now we're seeing this pell-mell rush for amnesty, to legalize somewhere between 11 and 30 million over the course of the next 10 years, 30 million illegal immigrants, which is going to destroy the economy. It's going to overwhelm our welfare system. It's going to increase the unemployment rate in America among low skilled workers. I mean, it's a catastrophe. And I actually don't get it, Nick. I mean, I do get it. I do get it because it's all about money. I mean, this is the way it looks to me. Nick, you were talking about this kind of fear of God, and what Jesus said is you cannot serve God and Mammon. You cannot serve two masters. Right. You cannot worship and serve God and Mammon. Mammon is the Aramaic word for money. You can't serve God and serve money. You got to choose. And I'm looking at what the Republican Party is doing on immigration, and to me, they are worshiping Mammon because they're doing it because big-time corporations, Chamber of Commerce, big-time corporations, Facebook, Microsoft, you name it, are promising them, we'll give you money for your campaigns if you will give us a flood of cheap illegal workers. We'll love you for it. We'll give you money for your campaign. So that's what they're doing. They're selling out for filthy lucre, as the King James would put it. So that's the way it seems to me, Nick. They're no longer serving God. Now they're serving Mammon and selling their principles out in order to get money for their campaigns.
Well, and here's the core principle is they have no core values. They have no core values, so they have nothing to stand on. They have the backbone of a jellyfish. But also, this brings me to a point of the electorate in this country. The people that are voting apparently doesn't have the core values either, because we keep putting these people back in the office again. I think the country, for the large part, Brian, is frustrated to a point of they don't know what to do, but yet we keep electing these people. That's what I don't understand. Why we keep putting these same people back in office. It's been there for generations. They've made a living off of our tax dollars. They live the high life, and they've got the power, and it's getting more and more centralized into the federal government, and we've lost our authority. The authority should be on the local level, not in Washington, D.C.
Well, I think that's the key thing. And, you talk about, Nick, I think what the Republican Party, the elites have been counting on is that we have no place to go. So we'll vote for them kind of by default. Well, I hear a lot of people like you saying, Nick, I'm done doing that. I will just stay home. I'm not going to vote for another flawed candidate that doesn't believe anything. I will just stay home. I don't think the GOP realizes how close they are to the edge of the abyss right now. Focal Point AFR Talk, back after the news.